they didn't even want me. Like, I wasn't the draft pick that the Browns wanted. The owner was the only person that wanted me.
Man, what a feeling. In my draft class, the Browns had 2 picks. With the 6th pick, we took Justin Gilbert. I get the most wave of for being a bust. I'm not even the biggest bust in my class from the Browns.
Me coming from Michigan, them being very much rooted in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, they legitimately bust out my windows and my cars, TP in my house. I used to be like, I played for your Browns. Cleveland, for all the things that they did wrong for me, I think I let the losing, the frustration lead to more partying, more drinking, less focus on the football field, more focus on the things that didn't matter because I was trying to escape bad football.
Speaking back a little bit, you said KOD. Man, I popped off 27,001s in there one night and had the best night of my life, dude.
We're living in the good old days. Take a look around. Ain't it funny how feels like we're in the good old days. Go and grab a cup, go and fill it up. Cheers to living in the good old days.
In college football, when it comes to Glory Days, fewer programs have had more than the Michigan Wolverines. 12 national championships, 9 Rose Bowl wins, 3 Heisman Trophy winners. And when it comes to the greatest wide receivers in Wolverines history, one name has to come to mind: Braylon Edwards. Braylon's Michigan's all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He was a Big Ten Player of the Year and has the Blitnikoff Award to show for it. His NFL career: Pro Bowl, check. All-Pro, check. Off the field, he's a legend in his own right. I can't wait for you to hear this conversation. This is Glory Days with Braylon Edwards. Braylon Edwards, how we living, brother?
So we living good, man. God is good. Glad to be on the pod with you. It's time to get ready, man. But also, that's 39 touchdowns. That's Big Ten record. You know what I'm saying? Just throw some
All
respect.
right, come on,
man.
for the whole conference, not just Michigan, all of it.
For sure.
You know, one of the things that we share, love it, hate it, fate, whatever it may be, Cleveland Browns. So, like, take me a little bit. You know, I know how my draft night was. You know, how was it? 05, number 3 pick, and it's Cleveland.
All right, here we go. I take you on a quick little ride. So the whole time going up to the draft process, you know, those mock draft this, mock draft that. Everybody's down into ESPN. What's Todd McShay talking about? What's Mel Kiper talking about? For me, it was always 2 to the Dolphins, 4 to the Bears, and maybe somehow if I dropped, then 7 to the Vikings. Like, never was Cleveland on my radar. Pro Day happens. Legitimately crush Pro Day. Nick Saban's at Pro Day. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, is at Pro Day. Everybody that represents the Miami Dolphins is at my Pro Day. I'm thinking, bet, I'm going to the Dolphins. This is what it is. I'm starting to wear the linen. I'm starting to get pink shirts. I bought a condo on South Beach. I know. It's the stupid things we do in the moment. No money in my pocket, but look, bought the condo. I was ready to go to the Dolphins. And then I didn't even interview with Cleveland. I never even talked to Terry Robisky or Romeo Cornell, who was the head coach at the time. Robisky was the wide receivers coach. Inter draft night, my agent Lamont Smith at the time, All Pro Sports, same agent as Joe Thomas, another Cleveland Brown.
Yep.
He was like, be ready to go to Cleveland. Cleveland is very much in play. I said, what? We're not going to Cleveland. I didn't even talk to Cleveland. Like, what do you mean? Insert draft day. I'm waiting for the Dolphins. They're on the clock at number 2. They don't call me. They call Ronnie Brown. And I'm like, oh man, this isn't what I thought was going to happen. My agent might be right. Fast forward, Romeo Cornell calls me with about 2 minutes left on the clock. Says, how would you like to be a Browns? I said, all right, bet. It is what it is. 3rd pick. I still take it. But I should have known something was going to be bad when I was the only one to fly out from the draft that night because it was a storm, blizzard, snow all around the country. Only draft player to fly out was me. I flew into a storm, landed in Cleveland, and the first question they asked when I got to the podium was, did you drive your Bentley here? I knew it was going to be an interesting journey in Cleveland, man.
Man, something that we really have in common, and this is something that I battle with. You know, whenever I left Cleveland and my time ended there, I was out of there so fast. I remember sitting with Jimmy Haslam and him being like, listen, we're going to have a new coach. We want you to stay here in the offseason and be in the building and just like work through this situation and the turmoil. And I remember looking at him dead in his face and being like, I'm going to fucking Texas. So throughout this whole fucking time, I have a lot of like resentment and like unfinished business. I never went back to my locker. I never walked back in the building again after that. So, you know, you recently returned to Cleveland. I did last year for the first time for the National Autograph Convention. And it felt like for me that I needed to go back into the city, stay at the 9 where my old apartment was,
Shout out to the 9,
and really just go to a Cavs game, go to fucking Barley House and Town Hall, and like really just put myself back in the city and just like come to peace with it. So, you know, you said it unlocked a lot of things for you. It did for me as well. So, like, what do you mean by that exactly? I know the feeling, but for people out there, I don't think they do.
Look, man, I dealt with a lot there. A lot happened in terms of just losing teams, losing atmosphere, battling with the fans, me coming from Michigan, them being very much rooted in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. Like, I never knew that that was that big a deal down in Ohio. Like, they will die for that. They bleed that shit down there. They legitimately bust out my windows and my cars, TP my house every time it's November and it's time for the Michigan-Ohio State game. I never got it. I used to be like, I played for your Browns. Why would you bust my windows out? But that's neither here nor there. There are a lot of ups and downs, you know, whether there was, you know, altercations outside of nightclubs, or whether there was, you know, losing seasons, or whether there was, you know, comments in the media that the media portrayed another way. Shout out to Mary Kay Cabot and Tony Grossi. You know, they tend to get after a little bit. And I always felt like I was fighting. I felt like I was fighting the organization. You know, you look at the organization at the time. Johnny, I didn't notice when I was 22, 23, 24, 25. They didn't even want me. Like, I wasn't the draft pick that the Browns wanted. Like,
Man, what a shitty feeling. I'm in the building. I have a building divided, right? People you walk by and they're like, yo, we love you. We're bought into you and we're working with you. And then you'll walk by people and feel a wave of energy that are like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, like,
we don't want you here at all.
We care nothing about this kid. He's not the guy we wanted. He's not the change of the organization. Like, the owner was the only person that wanted me. He saw a Michigan State game my senior year, triple overtime. We ended up beating Michigan State. It was a great game. And he saw that game and said, that's the guy I wanted. They wanted a defensive player. Phil Savage out of Oklahoma. Like, he loved all these defensive players that were built in the Oklahoma mold. Dan Cody, a couple other guys around there. And then Romeo Cornell, defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick, for Bill Parcells with the New York Giants in the 80s. So they wanted defense, and they got a wide receiver when we had no quarterback and no plan for offense. So to have to deal with that for 4 years was crazy.
You know, I always think, you know, in my draft class, the Browns had 2 picks. With the 6th pick, we took Justin Gilbert from Oklahoma State.
Oh, you okay.
And I get the most wave of shit for being a bust and this and that. But I wasn't even the biggest fucking, and respect to Justin Gilbert, I love him as a human being, but we both flamed out. We both fucking struggled, and he went 14, 15, 16 picks before me. So, like, I'm not even the biggest bust in my class from the Browns. But, you know, I'm not the only story. You look at Tim Couch, Brady Quinn. You know, Deshaun has struggled since he's got there. Yeah. So, you know, obviously with the culture of a team that wants to win so bad and they can't, you know, why is it so hard to find success in Cleveland?
That's a good question. You know, one of the biggest issues for the city of Cleveland is every player that's gotten drafted since 99, they've put everything on that player, whether it was the drive, whether it was the Ernest Biner fumble, whether it was Art Modell selling the team to Baltimore and the team disappearing, all that angst, all that animosity, every time they draft a player in the first round, it's up to that player to save the franchise, and it's just not fair. Tim Couch wasn't going to save your franchise. Johnny Manziel wasn't going to save your franchise. Brady Quinn, Kellen Winslow, me, Brandon Wheaton, the list goes on.
You know what? To be honest, and to really what maybe their biggest fuck up of the entire century is Baker did.
And then they got rid of him.
We don't want you.
And then they got rid of him. You're too much of a distraction. Was I a distraction when I won that playoff game? Was I a distraction when I was, you know, a quarter away from beating Chad Henne and getting to the AFC Championship? I wasn't a distraction then.
Blows my mind, bro. And
Yeah.
to be a guy that I see from Texas, right around the corner, a Heisman winner,
Yeah.
I'm couldn't be more excited to see him thriving in what he's doing now because he
Yeah.
deserves it. And look, now in the current situation they're in, you have Shadur walk in here. I really feel deep down that he can be the guy moving forward to maybe shake things up and do something different.
I definitely think Shadur could do that. Yeah, speaking of Baker Mayfield for a second, and you asked me a question, I'll bring it back. He was able to take a look at himself in total. And I think that's what you have to do when you get removed from a situation. Like Baker was able to take himself out of the Cleveland situation, out of the Rams situation, out of the Carolina situation. And I guess once it was to talk to Sean McVay and then he started, getting therapy and getting help, he was able to look at things in terms of how am I, causing confliction? How am I doing things? What am I doing to not make this situation the best that it can be? And I feel like in my career, it was too late by the time I realized that. That's why Baker's having the success that he's having now with the Bucks is because he was able to start looking himself in the mirror. Like Cleveland, for all the things that they did wrong for me, at least speaking for me, Johnny, they did a lot of things wrong by me. But I think I let the losing, the frustration lead to more partying, more drinking, less focus on the football field, more focus on the things that didn't matter because I was trying to escape bad football. I was trying to escape coaches that didn't talk to me. I was trying to escape owners that I never saw. I was trying to escape offensive coordinators that I couldn't give any game to or couldn't work with or feel a part of the process. So, all right, y'all don't want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I'm going out to the View. LeBron's got a party now. I'm going over here to Beechwood. There's something over at this bar or that bar or this club. Or I'm just getting the hell out of here. Shoot, as soon as practice is over on Monday, I'm out. I'm to this city. I'm to this destination so that I can stay away. Berea is 3 minutes from the airport, Cleveland Hopkins International. So that was the best thing about Berea in that space.
You have a long day on a Thursday, but your Friday day starts a little bit
Sure.
later. And I'm like, call Maverick. And I'm like, I need a plane to New York. It's Halloween. And I'm going to go to hang out with the Tau group. And I'm going to take two of my boys and we're going to take a plane and we're going to go. We're going to stay at Trump Soho. We're going to go out and we're going to come back the next morning and be back in time for practice. He's like, yo, you're not going to do this? I'm like, okay, cool. Hop on the internet, fly PJ, boom. How are you going to pay? I'll pay you in cash when we get on the runway. We go. And they sent my boy Rodney with me to go and oversee things. It's Halloween weekend. We're going to Avenue. And
Avenue, I got stories.
Man.
Right next to
I'm like, you know what, bro? Yes, right on the corner. And I'm like, we're going to dress up. It's Halloween. So me and my boys, my boy who's my assistant who lives with me, Gareth, he's a minion. I dress up as a minion with the mask and the goggles and everything. And I should have. And my other boy dresses as Gru. And we fucking go to the club and walk in fully masked up, go to the table. And our table is right next to the New York Knicks. And I remember taking my mask off for the first time and Carmelo looking at me going, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You boys are lit right now. Go back home to the hotel, maybe 4 a.m. You got to leave at 6. And I remember my boy knocking on my door, waking me up. And I'm like, yo, where's Travis? He's not with us. He's like, yo, I banged on his door for 15 minutes. He didn't answer. So I'm like, it. We got to go back to practice. We land back in Cleveland. When I get out of meetings at 11, my boy calls me. He's like, yo, where you guys at? I'm like, motherfucker, we're back in Cleveland. I'm booking you a United flight right now. You better head to Newark, bro. And he was like, what the
At least he knew he was good, though.
I knew he was good. Come to find out, my boy Gareth knocked on the completely wrong room that he wasn't in.
Y'all was out here loose.
It's one of those nights, man. Shout out to John Schwartz and Town Group.
Looking back at 42, I could have watched more film. I could have paid more attention. I could have put myself in less situations that I knew could end up a certain way. I don't think I had that mentor when I was in Cleveland, I'm saying, that I had when I was at Michigan, that a lot of people had in successful teams I was at. I didn't have that mentor, so I didn't have anybody to give me that game So I did my own thing, and sometimes my own thing got my ass in trouble.
Yeah, it's crucial to have a guy like that. And to be
Yeah,
honest, as tough as things went for me and as bad as it was, without Joe Hayden, it would have been
great
a
pro.
million times
Yeah,
worse. Like
there's a hell of a
him
guy.
and Sarah saved my life and welcomed me in as a part of their family, and I would live at their house and play boo-ray and spades and cards, and they
Don't get
saved me.
booed.
I
Don't
got my
get
ass.
booed.
Okay, so the first
Yeah. Oh
God damn it.
Lord.
The
Come on,
first
talk to
training,
me.
the
Talk to
first
me.
training camp, as you're like going through practice and stuff, and like
Yeah.
certain guys who have been in the league, and you think everybody's gonna make the team. You see guys performing in practice, and like yo, of course this guy's gonna make the team. So with like a week left in training camp, we're at Joe's house. There's like 8 guys. We're playing Boo-Ray. And at the end of the day, not everybody brings cash. So I'm like, all right, get the sticky note.
Yeah.
Write your IOUs. Well, cut day came up quick. I remember getting back to the hotel in Berea and opening up that side drawer and just seeing all these fucking sticky notes. 4,500, 80,
You'll never see
86.50.
it.
You know
Never
what?
see
I'm
it.
like, we're charging it to the game. It just like I learned a lesson that first training camp that motherfuckers that you think are gonna be here are gonna be somewhere else. Football brings out all the emotions. It's why we love the game. But that feeling when your bet doesn't hit and getting hung out to dry by your old sports book, that feeling is the thing of the past with the game day guarantee from Fanatics Sportsbook. Here's how it works. Every single game day from now until October, new customers get up to $100 back in fan cash if your football bet loses. Guaranteed. Think about that. If you're betting with Fanatics, you're either winning or you're winning money back in fan cash. Fan cash that you can use for anything in the Fanatics universe, like apparel, tickets, events, and plenty more. Why risk it with other sports books when you can switch to the sure thing every time? Every single game day this October comes with a guarantee. Your old sports book, they're out for the season. Fanatics Sportsbook has got your back. Go check it out yourself and download the app today. Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app. You got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. In MA, call 800-327-5050. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. And in Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. As Brian Hoyer was the starter and I was very solidified in the backup role, and you go through a couple games of the season and you see this guy tough as nails. I will say that about Brian Hoyer, with throughout all our differences, whatever it may be, he would get fucking rocked. And JJ Watt
differences. What differences y'all got? Y'all had some beef?
It was just a cold quarterback room, right? It wasn't open and welcoming, and like I've seen him speak on it, and I understand he feels a different way, but I could sit down with Connor Shaw, who was the 3 in our room, and he hit me after he saw the interview and was like, "You're so fucking right." And I'll fucking stand on the table and say that. I don't want to throw him and put him in a situation, but the truth is what it is. Dow Loggins will tell you that. Yeah. So it was just cold, right?
You gotta watch those Michigan State kids, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, bro. But that backup role for me was, as I know I'm not prepared, I don't know enough about defenses, he's not coming off the field. I got comfortable in that backup role to where, the Monday workouts come around, you're out of the building by 3, 4 o'clock. Yeah. I had a flight every Monday.
Same.
Every Monday I was 50-50. It would be straight to South Beach for FDR Mondays at the Delano, or I would go back to Texas and go to Dallas, or go to the Trump Soho, and that's what it was. I would go to my car every day. I'd have 2 sticks rolled. I'd try to smoke 2 blunts in the 6 minutes it takes to get to the airport, and I would be on a flight. And I just couldn't wait to get out of Cleveland or be back and breathe Texas air or walk on the beach. And on a Tuesday at 6, 7 p.m., I would be on the last flight out, get back to Cleveland at 10 or 11, and then start the week.
Some Mondays, Magic City Mondays and
Oh my
ATL.
gosh.
We hitting as soon as we land,
Tell me
boom,
about a
all
Magic City
man,
Monday.
what?
Come
All
on.
night. Or some Mondays, boom, we're about to go to Miami, go to KOD, or boom, like that. It was or New York, it's just so many vibes, so many things to do. But I look back, I like watch these cats that put in this work. There's one thing about social media and what it's allowed you to see of the game is you see these cats working year round, working, putting in that work, whether it's routes, whether it's working out, man, eating good, the nutrition vibe, they really are taking it serious. And I just look back to my career and don't get me wrong, I got it. I put in some work on that field, 40 tugs, I got this, I did that. But I feel like if I would have stayed some of those Mondays and watched more film, or stayed some of those Mondays and gotten the cold tank, then I would have been able to have a better week of practice. I would have been fresher. I would have, elevated my levels weekly and yearly, and I could have been a better player. But when you're in Cleveland, and you're preparing for your off season in October, like when you go through all of, summer workouts and then mini camps and then training camp, you put all that work in with a new plan, you get your body right, they gas you up, you guys are gassing each other up. Yeah, this is the year we get to the Steelers. Yeah, this is the year we get with the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be the year. When you're looking at, 1-5 after 6 games and you're like, all right, are we doing Cancun this year? Are we going to Miami? Are we going to go out the country? Like, and then you've got guys that are used to that. See, I came from winning. You came from winning. You know what I'm saying? What you did at Texas A&M at 12 and 13, like this losing stuff and people being okay with it messed with my mind. And so now I'm finally, after 2.5, 3, 4 years, now it's October and I'm planning for the off season. So now your mind is rewired in a losing way because of a losing, organization. And this is no disrespect to Cleveland. That's what we were. We were a losing organization at the time, and it just seeps into everybody's mind. And I didn't even realize how bad it was until I got to the Jets and I see everything was completely different. Now I'm going out for a different reason. I'm going out to celebrate.
Speaking back a little bit, you said KOD. Man, I popped off 27,000 ones in there one night and fucking had the best night of my fucking life, dude.
27,000, man.
It was back in the days where you could swipe your Amex and get ones, and then
oh yeah, do the pay transaction. Trust me, I've done that a couple of times. That was a time, man. I remember being in Cameo in Miami on the beach. This had to be like 2009. I think that it was the Super Bowl with who was in the Super Bowl that year? It was the Saints. It was when the Saints won the Super Bowl. They beat the Colts. Man, we're in Cameo. It's Brian McKinney, left tackle for the Vikings for some years. He was on that 01 Miami national championship team. He's on one side. I'm on one side. And of all people, Diddy was in the club, like gassing the bottle wars up. And he popped 10 bottles, so I'm popping 11. He's popping 12. I'm popping 12. All I know is that in the night, his bar tab was 52,000, mine was 47. Like, I was like, for what? But I had fun that night. Like, they wrote about that shit in the South Beach newspaper the next morning.
I had a night at the end of my run in 2016 at Live at New Year's where I think it was like 83,000, and I lined the staircase with like 30 bottles of Ace of Spades. And I used to have this thing that was like where I could drink one bottle of champagne to myself and then get about halfway through the next one, and I was like the perfect amount of lit. And that night, getting halfway through the next one, and then I wake up at the one hotel in South Beach, and I pull that receipt out of my pocket. I'm like, motherfucker, you ain't got no sense, bro.
Nope.
Hey, real quick, I want to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsor, Athletic Nicotine. If you're looking for a clean, sustainable energy boost without the jitters, this one's for you. Athletic Nicotine offers the lowest dose, slow release, tobacco-free nicotine made right here in the USA. And it's free from artificial sweeteners and microplastics. Whether you're an athlete, a biohacker, or someone who just loves getting into that flow state, this product is designed to gradually lift your energy, helping you stay focused and sharp without crashing. It's perfect for shifting your mindset and keeping you in the zone all day long. I use Athletic Nicotine when I'm prepping for my interviews for Glory Daze and really need to lock in and take the edge off. Or sometimes I throw one in before a big speaking engagement with a lot of stress, to really get myself honed in. It's the perfect performance tool to sharpen your mind. Ready to level up your focus? Head over to www.athleticnicotine.com/Johnny to grab yours today. Now let's get back to the show. You jump on a helicopter in 06 to go see Ohio State versus Michigan. What is this story?
So look, Michigan, we never got to the national championship when I played, and we never got to the number 1 seed. I think the highest we got was 3 when I was in college. This is the year that they were 1 and 2. Ohio State was 1, Michigan was 2. Michigan's undefeated. Ohio State's undefeated. The game's in Columbus. Like, I can't miss this game. Like, I'm not missing this game, and I'm year 2, so I play with everybody on that team damn near. So I'm rooted. I got to figure it out. So my boy Hayes, my manager at the time, we get a helicopter situation. Flew out of Berea, flew there. It was fine. Helicopter there. We flew in. We landed. We go to the game. We go down the tunnel. I'm kicking in the locker room with the fellas. I'm on the field. I'm talking stuff to Chris Carter, Eddie George, Tay again. Like I'm popping off. Boom, excited. Fast forward, the game after the face mask by Sean Crable on Troy Smith that gave him a first down and pretty much won the game for him. I'm trying to get out. We leave, we get to the airport. We have more than enough time. We're exactly the time that we were told to be back, maybe 15 minutes after, maybe 20, but still within the window. It was freezing that day, and they had to de-ice the plane. So they had to de-ice the plane for maybe an additional 40 minutes. Now we get on the plane. Now we're running late. Now I'm telling Amy Palcic, who at the time was PR at the Browns, she made sure everything was good. Now I'm telling her I'm going to be late. She's waiting for me to land at the airport. We landed at the airport downtown, like the PJ airport downtown. I know you know about that. So we land there, and they pick me up, and I end up being 7 minutes late for this meeting. After all that icing and all that, we still were only 7 minutes late. I got on a Mike Hart jersey, big chain, Michigan hat, Michigan wristbands, and I walk into the meeting room, try to sit in the back, and Romeo's like, no, Braylon, get up here to the front. So now I got to walk all the way up to the front with all this Michigan shit on. Like, everybody know I'm late where I was at. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I'm like, you would do it too. If your school was number 2, you would do it too. My playing out. They didn't take it that way. But this is the thing that pisses me off about this, though, Johnny. So this happens. All right. Go about the night. Everybody's like, man, you should have been here. It is what it is. Forget about it. Just go out there, play hard tomorrow. All right, cool. We're playing the Steelers. We played the Steelers. I proceeded to go out there, had 133 yards. Most I'd ever had in the Steelers. It's like big game for me. I think it's the most yards I had at the time in the NFL. So I'm like, all right, we lost, but I put it on the line. I had some good blocks. I picked up James Harrison on the play. Man, you know how scary James Harrison was?
That's a fucking beast.
That's a man child. And I scooped him out on the play. So I'm feeling very proud about this game. I get to my locker. The media comes around me. It's Mary Kay Cabot, it's Tony Grossi right here. They put the mic in my face. And I'm thinking they're going to talk about the game. I thought they were going to talk about, Braylon, you had 133 yards. What clicked for you and Charlie Fry today? First question. So you think it was smart to go to the Ohio State-Michigan game and be late to team meeting? You know why I was pissed, Johnny? Because that's the type of team we had. Somebody let that cat out of the bag. Like, somebody let that information out. Like, Amy Palcic picks me up. She brings me to the facility.
Where's the loyalty? Where's the love?
The players
Where's the
and
camaraderie?
the coaches know. Exactly. Somebody dropped it. So things like that is why I was excited to get out of Cleveland.
I got an opportunity in 14 or 15, one of the years, to go to Ohio State-Michigan game at Ohio State. And I went with Maverick and LeBron, and I didn't do the helicopter. I called a Uber XL and hopped in a Uber and just went to Columbus and got dropped off on the frat house streets and walked into the stadium. And I was just on my computer the whole time, listening to Future and just rapping the whole way. And to see that rivalry and see what it truly is and what it means to that state, Michigan fans. You had 3 games against Ohio State. Do you remember your combined stats in those games?
Yes.
28 catches, 409 yards, 3 TDs.
Yeah.
So what turned you into the Buckeye Slayer?
Look, man, like one, my dad went to Michigan, so I already knew what it was when I got up there to Ann Arbor. I knew we hated them, and I knew what time it was. I also knew this game made careers. You know, you look at Desmond striking the pole, that was against Ohio State. You look at Charles getting the punt return on the same side.
It's really on site.
It 100%. It's on site, and every time you see him, that energy. I'll give you a quick story. Last year, the NFL draft was in Detroit. I'm walking out of my hotel, the same hotel everybody's staying at, the Weston Book Cadillac, and I see Pat McAfee, and next to Pat is AJ Hawk. You know, they work together as well. AJ and I played against each other for 3 years. Like, I know him well. I played against him in the league. Like, I saw him, and initially it was, oh man, it's good to see AJ. AJ, what's going on? How you doing? And then when I shook his hand, we got eye to eye. Like, you feel the goosebumps, because now I'm looking at him as number 47 for the Scarlet and Gray. You know, I'm looking at him as, you know, this guy with long hair that I used to hate seeing him because I had to come across the middle, and I knew he knew I was coming across the middle as a big wide out. But no, it's on site. You know, we respect them. You know, at least when I was there. I don't know about what it is now. It looks a little soft, but we respect the Ohio State players, but we hate them. You know, we despise them. Like, we're gonna do all the things.
You know, you end your college career with a huge statement. The 05 Rose Bowl, 10 catches, 100-plus yards, 3 TDs against Texas. You know, take me back and forth that game. Obviously, 38-37, just a battle.
So the end of this story is going to be a question from me to you. So remember that.
Say less.
So the night before the game, Coach took us to Pasadena, took us to the Rose Bowl Stadium. We hadn't been the whole time. We practiced at the Coliseum where USC played. This is the first time we're seeing the Rose Bowl. My receivers coach, Eric Campbell, who's now back in Michigan, so happy about that. He takes me to the side of the wall. Each MVP of the game is etched in the marble slate on the outside of the stadium. So he's showing me, you know, Charles White. He's showing me Marcus Allen. He's showing me Keyshawn Johnson and, you know, Tyrone Wheatley, who went to Michigan. So he's showing me all these names, and he said, hey, this is where you want to be. This is where you're going to be after the game. So the night of the game, I'm like, bet. I'm putting my name on a marble. We're going to win a Rose Bowl. I'm about to enter this draft. I'm about to go wherever. Go in there, I ball out. Like, I do my thing, and it's just tick for tack. Like, respect to Texas, but they weren't like that. Yeah, they weren't like that. If they were throwing the ball a little bit more, it'd been a little bit more fun. But 3 touchdowns, and it didn't matter because there's a guy on the other sideline named Vince Young who wore number 10, and this was the birth of him nationally. Big 12 knew about Vince Young. Texas knew about Big 12, Big Young. The people in the know knew about Vince, but this was the birth. I'm talking about 192 rushing yards. He had 212 passing yards. And I'm so pissed to this day because you legitimately on first and second down, we spied him, kept him in the pocket. So he was just getting some passes here and there. Every freaking third down, our defensive coordinator went to all-out blitz. Like clockwork. We would spy first, spy second, play zone. We would get them into 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, and then they go all out blitz. And every single time he would whoop, whoop, up the sideline. 3 times he did that, up the sideline, 3 times. So it was the birth of Vince Young, and then obviously we know what happened the next year with USC in that game. Your style that you started out of, Tybee High School?
Yes, sir.
There you go, man. Tybee fight never dies.
You know it, bro.
There we go. Yeah, for sure. But your style is a little bit of Vince Young. I know you said that was one of the quarterbacks that you love. Like, that was the guy that you kind of got your thing from. When you're watching Vince in 04 against us, or you're watching 05 against USC in the game, as they like to call it, what are you thinking when you're watching him on the field? Like, how did he speak to you and to what you end up doing at Texas A&M?
The game that really changed it all for me, and it's not a well-known one, but it's 05 season for Texas, I believe, and they're playing Oklahoma State.
I knew it.
And he went 8, 9, 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he hit him with the pump fake, and he fucking jumped, and he fucking took it, And I remember going back to practice the next week in like middle school or something, and I took that with me everywhere. And it was so ingrained in my head, in my DNA, because the way he ran the football, and it's tough from a coach's perspective, right? Because you want ball security and you're going to get out in practice, and like, yo, you're going to watch film on a Sunday after the game and be like, your coach is going to be looking at you like, the fuck are you doing? Tuck the ball. Like, you know, it's something, it's going to come back to bite you eventually. It's just one of those things that coaches do. But that pump fake 05 Oklahoma State was like, I fell in love, bro. I fell in love with this guy and the way that he played. And then you fast forward to the USC game and the step up in the pocket, run to the pylon. If you're a college football fan, it's iconic. And that game and where USC was, and I'm great friends with Matt Leinart now and Reggie, and like, they were the kings. They were the talk of what it was, the top of the top. They ran LA, and that game against Texas was just unbelievable. I'm probably in 6th grade. I'm in Tyler, Texas, and I'm sitting on the couch in a Vince Young Rose Bowl jersey with the patch. And it's something I still have to this day because it meant so much to me. And him as a player, the way he played was inspiring to me. And I got a chance and the ability to go out and live my dream and show a little bit of the same style and live my journey.
If you're 21 or older and looking for pure, potent, reliable cannabis, it's time to check out 3chi.com. Since 2018, 3chi has been America's go-to cannabis brand, building the strongest, cleanest THC products with science and safety at the core. Whether it's gummies, drinks, vapes, formulated by expert biochemists, our flower and pre-rolls grown by the industry's best farms, everything is double tested for potency you can feel and safety you can trust. I think that 3Chi's premium seltzers are the best tasting THC seltzer on the market. Finding your vibe is simple. 3Chi dials in effects so you can feel exactly the way you want, when you want. Relax after a long day. Lock into focus, lighten up to socialize, ease into sleep, find relief when you need it most, or take a quick trip to outer space. However you want to feel, 3Chi's got you covered. Head to 3chi.com and take the product quiz to find your perfect fit. That's the number 3, CHI.com. Not available in all states and 21 plus only. Consume responsibly and never drive high. Use code Johnny at 3chi.com for 30% off everything store-wide. That's code Johnny at 3chi.com. Now back to the show.
I look at the NIL space now. I look at what it is, where it's going, the things it's doing, the attraction and the money that these kids are making. And I just always remember watching that 2012 season and then looking at the 2013 and 14 kind of results for what Texas A&M became. Like, I know that there have been amazing players in the past. Now, you can go down the list of players that were electric, from Reggie Bush to, I don't feel like even doing all that. But I don't know if there's been a player that you could immediately see that players deserve to get played more than you. Like, from the standpoint, like Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and Lindell and Carson Palmer, they're great, but they're part of a machine that had money and already exists. Like, Vince Young was amazing, like amazing. But Texas is Texas. Texas is, maybe the number one as it relates to donor money and all the things. Texas A&M wasn't that before you got there. Like, a player, as you stated, became bigger than the institution, which you were. Like, when you see how much money was made at Texas A&M in the end of 12 and 13 and 14, that's when you know we got to start playing these fucking kids, because it's only a matter of time. Like, you can look at the direct result of how much money was rolling in Texas A&M, and you can legitimately point to one person. And that's no disrespect to Von Miller.
Datton Wynn, all the guys throughout the years.
Hell of a linebacker, by the way.
So,
Leland McElroy.
Unbelievable players. And, I'm sitting at a show in Amsterdam the other night on the Drake tour, and I go walking around, like, seeing what the vibe's going to be like at the show. And I come back in, and KD is sitting with Drake's manager, Future the Prince, and they're having this conversation. who has meant more to one school that has moved the needle and created the things to where the school was one way before and what it was like after. And you go through the list, right? You think about Cam, but Bo Jackson. You think about USC. You have the Carsons. You have the OJs. You have the this. Lamar is a good example for sure. There was only one person really going through it. You have your Alabamas. They're stacked. Yes, Tebow changed the game, but you had Spurrier and guys and history and stuff through it. And you can go around every school in the country and kind of think about it. And the only person that I could really think of that we all agreed on was Caitlin Clark.
Ooh.
And I don't take credit for that. Like I had Mike Evans, I had Luke Jokel, I had Jake Matthews, I had Cedric Aboye, I had unbelievable pieces around me.
I appreciate that humility, Johnny, but that 2012 run, and Mike told you this on the show. I didn't even pay attention to this because I just assumed that you only had Mike for 6 of those games, and Mike is, if not the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the country at the time. So you did that without Mike Evans, who's going in the Hall of Fame in 6, 7, 8 years, whenever he chooses to retire, wait 5. So you gotta know that the shit you were doing in that game, the shit you were doing that season, starting with the SMU game,
Well, he busted down the barrier, right? Like you can look at 100 years of the Heisman and no freshman had ever won it, and you go into that weekend and you're nervous and shaking and pissing in your pants that you're gonna not win this because of you're a freshman. So to knock that barrier down and really, that's what came with a lot of the fame, right? As exciting as the play was and exciting as it was to wake up on a Saturday and watch Texas A&M play college football and that offense, bang, 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 bang. And just, it was the, it was the way the game that was played. It was the way the season played out. And man, I'm blessed, bro. I got to showcase my ability on the brightest stage, on the highest level. I transformed a university and a school and a program that will forever be different because of what happened. And man, I have the most love and appreciation no matter what happened and everything that went down. I'm blessed. I got to really showcase the best of me and have people a decade plus later excited and will never forget where they were on a Saturday on November 12th or whatever it was when we played at Alabama.
I love to travel, whether it's for this podcast, for big games, or to visit family and friends. I'm always on the go. I'm sure many of you can relate, but I'm a big overpacker. That's why I started packing smarter with Mando. Now you can simplify travel. With Mando's 4-in-1 acidified cleansing bar, it's shampoo, face wash, body wash, and deodorant, all in one bar. Also, it works as a shaving lather, so maybe it's more like a 5-in-1. It simplifies my entire hygiene routine, and I also love Mando's sweat control deodorant stick. It stops odor before it starts. It's got all-day odor blocking instead of just masking with fragrance, especially for the hot summer months. It fights sweat and has double protection. Mando holds up, even in the heat, even on the move. I was pleasantly surprised by how long it lasted. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and on top of that, free shipping. Special offer for listeners. New customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. So use code Johnny at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide, plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Protect your pits, smell great doing it. Now we're back to the show.
As you leave Cleveland, right, and you get to the Jets and you get to a new situation, you go from losing to 2 straight AFC championship games. You're running into a really gauntlet of teams with some of the best quarterbacks and teams that have ever graced an NFL field. You lose in 2010 to Big Ben and the Steelers. What do you remember about these 2 games, the AFC championship, where you're going into it and you're like, yo, if we fucking show out and do what we're supposed to do, we're Super Bowl bound, and then it's a coin flip to go get a ring.
All right, so I start with '09. Like, pretty much get traded. I get to the Jets. I go from 0-4 to 3-1. So it's an instant shift already. I get in the Flooring Park. You're talking about leaving Berea, who had one of the oldest buildings and facilities. I think they still use the same facility. I could be wrong. I think they've upgraded.
Finally,
but
they did, but holy
They finally
hell.
upgraded, finally, right? So, but you remember what Berea looked like. I leave 0-4 and Berea to go to this state-of-the-art facility in Florham Park that they had just spent, 425 mil on. They're 3-1. Mark Sanchez, rookie quarterback. So it just felt different. Rex Ryan, energy was just different with Rex.
What a
It was
guy,
looser.
what a coach.
What a guy. I freaking love Rex. I run through a wall for Rex, but the energy was different. It was cool. He treated you like an adult. However, you went out there and you got after it. And then there were guys on the team, man. It's Thomas Jones, hell of a running back over years, and Kerry Road, and Darrell Revis. This is when he's really coming into his own. So
how was that going up against Revis in practice?
it was great. Iron sharp as iron. I had actually had the success. I was one of the few people that had success on Revis before I got on the team. I think I had 3 for 90 his rookie year and a touchdown in New York, and then I had like another touchdown on him in preseason '08. So I had some success, and he took that. He let me know that every time we went up against each other, like he was always working. We were getting better. If I got open on a route, he was instantly right back to the line of scrimmage. What did you do on the route? What were you trying to do? How did you get here? What are you thinking? And we would just keep repping and keep repping and keep repping. So that was great. It made me much better as a wide receiver, because if you're going against Revis, and then in 2010, Cromartie every day in practice, games not as hard, not as hard. But fast forward through all that, we sneak into the playoffs. We played the Bengals last game to get in, then we beat the Bengals in the playoffs. We go out to San Diego at the time, and we shocked the Chargers. They were the 2 seed, or they were the 1 seed. We beat them. Come back to Indianapolis. We played Indianapolis the 15th game of the season, and we worked some stuff on them. And when we came back in the playoffs in the AFC Championship at Lucas Oil, we used some of that stuff. Like we ran a BS, how you fake the run, throw the slant backside. We ran the run in the first time we played them in the game. We fake the run, threw the slant, go on slow. I caught an 80-yard touchdown. So we had a lot of momentum. But here's what the game gets, Johnny. It's about 2 minutes left in the first half, and we get the ball back on the turnover. We're up 10-0. We've got the ball. It's 2 minutes left in the half, and guess what? We get the ball coming out of the half. So we're in great position. I'm like, shit, I'm about to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I just scored an 80-yard touchdown. I'm like, we about to go to the Super Bowl. Like, this is crazy. I'm thinking about what my MVP speech is going to be. But anyway, we get the ball. Our offensive coordinator, who I won't say his name, but you can look it up. You can do the math on this. He's a head coach in the NFL now. How, I do not know. He decides that he wants to play for a field goal as opposed to going for a touchdown. We got a turnover. We're on the 27 going in. Now we're on the 27 going in. He doesn't want to play for it. He wants to play for the field goal, play the safe route. So we go 1, 2, 3. We get no yardage. Field goal kicker misses the field goal. So now you're thinking 17 zip at the half. All right, at least 13 zip at the half. Instead, the Sheriff got the ball with 47 seconds and went and scored in 22 seconds. So now, as opposed to being 13 or 17-0, it's 7-10. We go in the locker room. Johnny, you could have hit a pin drop in there. Like, we're up by 3, get the ball back.
Playing
It's
safe will
dead
get
side
you
of the locker room. Game's
murdered.
over.
Playing safe will
Game's
get you
over.
murdered. And
Game's
it's
over.
time and time again. You play hard and you do
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do and you run your offense. But if you're going to be
100%.
conservative and you're going to do that, it's going to bite you in the
Yep.
ass, which is what I respect when you watch ball now and you see
Yeah.
Dan Campbell. And you see what Dan
Hey,
Campbell did in the
100%.
playoffs last year. You
100%.
live by the mother sword and you die by the mother sword. And that's
But
how
at
you
least-
rock.
But at least it's yours. At least it's who you are. At least it's authentic, so that you feel good when you close your eyes at night. You're like, you know what? That's the way we effing roll.
I sent
That's-
it. I was me. I did what I was
100%.
supposed to do. I did what got me to that point. I was kicking a field goal with a 50-50 chance you miss it.
So we ended up. He goes out. They score. Now it's 7-10. We don't score. I think we may have kicked the field goal. They win that game. They go to the Super Bowl. They lose to the Saints. Fast forward 2010, we brought LaDainian Tomlinson in. We brought Antonio Cromartie in. We had Jason Taylor. You know, it's three Hall of Famers right there. So we thought we were a better team. We won 2 more games. We got to the AFC Championship again. We lose a Big Ben, and this is my thoughts again. Once again, these are just my thoughts, not anyone else's. We played Pittsburgh maybe week 14 of the season, and we played in Pittsburgh, and we beat them. It was like the first time the Jets had beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh maybe ever. Like it was like some random stat, either that or the first time in like 30 years. So we beat them in Pittsburgh. Troy Polamalu has a bad Achilles sprain type deal, so he didn't play in that game. So we ran all these pass plays. I had 114 yards. Santonio had about 80. Dusty Keller had some yards in that game. So we had some success passing the ball against them. Fast forward, we play this same Steelers team in the AFC Championship. Troy is now playing, but Troy is a decoy. Don't you hate when you know someone's a decoy, but the coordinator is like taking them into too much account?
Yeah, he's so respected, though, that even though he's a decoy, you have to be like, fuck, he may still be him.
This is true. Troy is going to be him. Respectfully, Troy is Troy. Respect. He wasn't Troy that game, but we stayed away from him. Like, we did not get a first down. We didn't get into the red zone, I want to say, into the fourth quarter. And then I think we were down, let's say 2 scores. So we were down, whatever it was. We got a touchdown, and then we're down 4. So we were down 11. We got a touchdown. I caught a 4th down conversion on a slant route. Caught that in Jericho Country. Mark hit him with a little receiver screen. He scores on touchdown. They get the ball back. They need 1 first down, and they end up getting a 3rd and 6 to Emmanuel Sanders on their sideline. Game over. They go to the Super Bowl, and they proceed. I think they lost to Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. But we had a really good game plan for them. We beat them in Pittsburgh week 14. We came back in AFC Championship, and we just went totally different. We didn't move the ball. It didn't work. The defense did their job in both of those games.
It's tough when the offense can't get it going in a day, and it's super frustrating, and you got a lot of 3 and outs, and you know, you've had a good game plan all week and you really can't get it rolling, and you're just like, fuck, it's so tough. You know, as you go through those games where you're so close and it's such a grind to getting to the big one, and then, you know, you have a career that you have, and then as everybody deals with this, when football ends, it's a humbling thing, because it's what you've done since the time you were yay high. You know, what was the hardest part about disassociating yourself as a player and into a regular person living regular life?
Yeah, I think it's always about situational. It's twofold. When you are leaving something that is all you've ever known, you know, I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're Jerome Bettis and, you know, you went on top of the Super Bowl in your own hometown of Detroit, or Peyton Manning. You know, you come back after the broken neck and everybody says you're done, and pretty much the coach, you know, wash their hands of you, and you win a Super Bowl with Denver. Like, you've been playing football forever. You've been playing this sport forever. You've been pouring in hours and hours and hours of a routine into this. You've been preparing for, in some way, shape, fashion, or form, for this sport 365 days, whether it's eating, whether it's working out, whether it's sleep, whether it's regimentation, whether it's studying, whether it's, you know, whatever it is. So for the game that I've played since 6 to just be over, it takes a while to disassociate yourself. And I think a lot of times, if you don't prepare the right way, if you're not around the right things, and depending on how it ended for you, you can just tap into other stuff. For me, you know, I had a meniscus tear in 2011 with the 49ers. So I missed 6 games, had to come back, but, you know, you're taking pain pills to try to hurry up and get back, and not ever being in a situation of not having a spot guaranteed. You know, now I'm dealing with a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of angst. I'm trying to rush back. So I'm popping these pain pills and working out, but I'm drinking, you know, on the side, because I'm trying to cope with, you know, being in a space. It's a hell of
a mixture.
100% a space of confusion. So you mix this with getting cut right after Christmas in 2011. And now I go to Miami, and now, you know, the people I'm hanging with at the time are now they're doing Molly. And this is when I get introduced to Molly. So now I'm popping Molly in Miami in January as my knee is messed up. So I got surgery for my for my meniscus, because it was a bad surgery that I received in You know, at the team I was with at the time, it's bad surgery. I got to get it cleaned out in Miami. So now I'm on pain pills from September, and I get reintroduced to him in January, and now I'm on Molly, and I'm just doing all the things. And so that's when it starts, and then the career never really gets back on track. 2012, I signed with Seattle. I played 13 games there, and then get cut after a pulled hamstring, grade 1. The Jets re-signed me. I go back, play 3 games there, and then season's over. I go to Miami, go back where I know I can hang out and have fun, and I don't have to answer questions. Because Johnny, that's another thing that you do when you're in the space is you want to be around people that aren't going to ask you questions. You want to be around people that aren't going to tell you things that you don't want to hear. So now I'm in Miami and I'm hanging out with some people I know, some people I don't know, just because I want to cope and I just want to dive into the abyss, so I don't have to deal with, is my career over? Do I have a drinking problem? Am I partying too much? Can I dial it back? Can I save my career? What am I going to do if I retire? You just keep pushing these questions down the road, and it's more drinks, it's more partying,
It's
it's more trips
tomorrow's
to
problem.
Exactly, and tomorrow never comes. It's I worry about tomorrow. Until then, let me hit up 11, or let me hit up this after hours, or that after hours, or let me take this trip, or
You
you
forget
know, and
about it in the moment till the gloom and the doom eventually
yeah.
comes and sets in. Last October you were enshrined into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, by the way. Unbelievable accomplishment for what that program is and the players that they've had come through there. What were you reflecting on most as you experienced that day and going through that process?
It's just been a lot. It also, too, I think things happen when you're ready. Things happen, God puts things on you when you're ready. God, when you're ready to walk that, he puts it in front of you so that it's met the right way. And I think I was able to deal with things, deal with depression, deal with anxiety, what I'm saying, deal with the game being over, deal with I don't have to disappear and do these things. How did I get here? I got family, I have this space, I have my health, I have a lot going on for me. So let me stop, for lack of a better word, let me stop crying like a little bitch, and let me dive into getting back, because I was great in this space. I've been great at times before. That means I have the ability to be great. I just gotta tap into that. So you slow down. You start hitting the pavement. What can I do? What am I good at? Where do I want to lend my voice? How do I want to work? Start eating healthy. You start getting on a regimen yet again. And you put out a book in 2019 called Doing It My Way. And putting that book out, I was able to kind of address myself and deal with things of the past, whether it was Cleveland or whether it was things that I thought were somebody else's fault. And Johnny had to be like, "Oh shit, that was on you. But that was you that did that. You sent this message, or you didn't follow through on this, or you put yourself in this situation for this to transpire." So I had to be honest with myself, and I think 2019, COVID, also in 20, let me re-dive into that and look at myself even more. But fast forward, been podcasting now for the last 4 years. Been
Braylon Edwards
extreme.
Show.
The Braylon Edwards Show, what's up, man? 2 to 4, Monday through Friday, man. It's on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the whole 9 yards,
Man,
man.
please,
It's
for
been
anybody
great.
who's sitting here
Please
listening,
watch the show.
tap in. If you can't talk about, watching this episode and seeing what kind of person he is, as you look back on things that, hey, I did this on Shannon Sharp last year, and I remember before I was going on the show, I'm like, you know what? It. I'm going to go and tell it exactly what it is, be self-aware, and admit to my shit. Yo, I did X, Y, and Z. This is my fault. Like, I remember seeing people after, like, yo, everybody Johnny Manziel blames in this interview. And it's like, you know what? You. When I look back at it, you know who I blame? Me. You know who was wrong? Me. You know who was a childish, egotistical, selfish asshole? Your boy. Because I thought I knew better and I had the access and the keys to the world. And you speak in such a way, and you talk about depression, man. And I think it's something that's so, empowering for people who deal with it. And I go through my DMs all the time and I see people that are like, yo, man, I'm really stuck and I'm really struggling and I'm really don't know how to get out of this hole. And for people who have dealt with it, man, go touch some grass. Go disconnect from this world that we live in of social media, unrealistic bullshit, and go get in the gym, go put some shots up, go do whatever it is that you look at through your life that brings you genuine joy and happiness, whether it be family or sports or whatever, and disassociate yourself from the bullshit that people in this day and age think reality is. And it really comes down to a shift in perspective, because I've been at points in time where the world is ending and melting and I can't get out of it. Yeah. But I go to the things that mean the most to me, to my core. This group of people, my family, my Aggies, my people. And you reach out and you be vulnerable and you let time pass and know that better days will prevail, because it is something that will eat you alive and feel like you can never get out of. So that's something that I want to drop a message to all the people that look at this and see me as a guy who've gone from the point of putting a gun to his head and wanting to end his life, and sitting here today thanking the Lord every single day for my people, my friends, my family, and the life that I have, because it is a beautiful thing and you only get one of them.
Yeah, man, look, man, if you type into God, man, you may not believe, but he believes in you, man. Like God will always find a way for you, for sure. You got to tap into people that love you. People spend so much time, like you said, tap into that social world or that social media space and trying to prove something to those people, or, you know, find someone that likes their material. Like, you're spending so much time worrying about what people that you don't know think about you and care. It messes with your mind. You got to stay tapped into the people around you, man, whether it's family, whether it's friends. Like we're talking about, a team, like you said, the Aggies for me is Michigan, and the Jets. Yeah, I rock with the Jets heavy, but just tap into that space, man. Like you said, get out, get a routine, get some shots up, get in the gym.
Get some discipline, get some structure in your life, and do things the opposite of the way you've been doing. And just 100%. You know, as we wrap up every single one of these episodes, you know, I sit with all of my guests and ask them, you know, one question. If you had one word to define your glory days, you know, what is that word to explain everything that you've been through and your career as a whole?
Satisfying. Satisfying has been my journey, just at every point, man. The ups and downs, the adversities. I mean, you know, I went from, you know, a kid who, my father played in Michigan, but, you know, I was a 2-star. You know, in my senior year, I was a 2-star, and then I committed to Michigan, become a 3-star. And they gave me, you know, a ride. You know, I didn't get anything easy. So they didn't give me the number 1 jersey. I had to get the number 80 jersey, and I had to prove to Lloyd Carter that I was even worthy of being number 1. And I get number 1 my junior year, and make all Big Ten, break the records my senior year. I get drafted 3rd overall, and, you know, things look up in Cleveland. They look down in Cleveland. I break Cleveland's record for most, you know, touchdowns in the season with 16. It still stands. Then I get traded. I go to the Jets. Like, it's just been one high point to one low point to a midpoint to a high point. It's been a roller coaster that I wouldn't trade in for the world, because it got me to this point today where I'm sitting in my office, you know, breathing. You know, I got breath in my lungs. I'm talking to one of the greatest college football players to ever do it. You know, the man that, you know, influenced the rapidness of NIL, in my opinion. And we're just sitting here sharing stories, man, about life and, you know, and adversity and God and greatness, man, how crazy and how like this is special. This is satisfying.
Nah, it's what it's all about. And man,
I'm humble, man.
You know, I sit there as you're seeing you say the word satisfied, and I think of this Drake song that just came out. You know, I'm back in your city tonight, walking around my head high, and my head is high and proud about the things that I've done, the failures that I have. You have to look at in the same way. But man, I promise you one thing: when we get off this phone call, I'm tapping in. You're gonna have my number if you ever need anything. And that motherfucking bar tab, when I see you, is up and it's stuck on me, my brother. On God, I swear it, brother.
Let's go.
So man,
I believe.
To all the Michigan fans out there, to all the people that tap into this pod, this really and truly has been one of the most enjoyable things. I walk into this pod in one mood, and I'm leaving here on cloud 9, brother. So just know I got the most love for you. We are so tapped in. And for everybody that watches this pod, Braylon Edwards, that guy, this is Glory Daze. Much love, my G.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Bang, bang.